Hello world, this is Kiereek here, and I'm doing a review today for the review and release series for a game called Endless Space. Now this is Endless Space with the Disharmony expansion, and here's what it is. It's a turn-based strategy game in space. It's not unlike Civilization. The only difference is instead of having the map where you can move around, you have dedicated paths. So you still control your planets, you have to colonize them, and they basically work like cities. You build improvements there, you can build units there, and you send those units along the paths to other planets and wage war, diplomacy, science. There's actually multiple victories. You can win through military might, you can win through scientific or diplomatic might, so or even I think economical might, but I don't know if I've ever done that one. Now, the battles are based on cards. It's kind of an interesting, unique system. When you go into battle, you have your ships, and they will all appear in a 3D render of the battle, aside from the turn-based. It's a separate area from your turn-based map. And you pick 3 cards. Something like offense, defense, sabotage, camouflage. There's different options, and they each have counters and other things that they're good against. So basically, if you play a defense card, it will counter the offense card. If you play a sabotage card, it will counter the defense card. And it's a kind of a rock, paper, scissors attitude the whole game, except if you had a ton of different things. Like if you, I think there's a lot of cards. There's like 20 something different cards you can play, and as you research, you'll unlock more. Now you can also customize your ships and make them a little bit better, but I'm kind of getting into the pros here. So let's get on. This is a pro. You can customize your ships. As you research and unlock new bodies for ships, you can choose what weapons you want on them, what upgrades, and it all turns into a kind of ship builder. Now you don't really change the look of the ship, but you can add lasers, you add kinetic weapons, add missiles, siege things, you can add unit drops, like if you're invading a planet, to make them better at taking planets. I always like the which one was it? I like laser combination with a little bit of missiles and an assload of armor. That's what I always go for, and those ships are little tanks, unbreakable. Now the game has some great visuals. It looks very pretty, even if it is a simple kind of design. They did a good job with the planets. They did a good job with the UI. I love the user interface. It's simple, it's easy to follow, and once you get used to it, it's very efficient. Now the battle system, it's unique. I'm going to give it points for that. It kind of turned me off a little bit at first, but once you got into it, you really start to love it. It's very easy to learn, and even when you start the game, it kind of walks you through and helps you out. So even if you're just picking it up for the first time, you should be able to jump right in and give it a shot. In my first game, I got involved in an unbreakable war for the entire game, and I actually survived, even though it was my first experience with this game. That's not so bad. I think it's pretty good for the game. And that was on easier difficulty, but still, you got to give it some props for that. Now, there's many different races, and each of those races has a little bonus. And you can customize your own race as well and take the best of all the bonuses if you want, which I highly recommend. Now, there's also many techs. It will take a long time to research everything. The games can be pretty long, but you can change the length of them accordingly if you want to research fast or research slow. And the techs are varied. You got to read about them. You got to figure out what you're doing. And when you do choose the right things, you'd be surprised how a massive tech advantage can really steamroll your opponent. Now, every galaxy map is different. They're randomly generated. You do choose a shape and a size, but they're always going to be a little different, and that adds a bit of variation to the game. There's also a thorough tutorial, one of the best I've seen in a game like this of such grand strategy proportions, and I recommend doing it before you do the actual game. It really walks you through and helps you out. For the cons, the customization of the ships, I really do enjoy it, but it really got me down that it doesn't change the appearance. I would have liked to spice them up a bit. The diplomacy, it seems kind of black and white. It's finicky. You pick with the AI you want to talk to, you make negotiations with them, but then I don't know, they just decide, oh, hey, by the way, we're not friends anymore, and I don't like you. It's like, well, we've had years of good relations. We've traded. We've protected each other. What changed now? It seems too finicky and not very realistic. I'd like a more stable system that rewards you for long-term friendships, long-term commitments. Finally, their gameplay is a little repetitive. You take a planet, you build stuff, you send those guys to another place, they fight. You take a planet, you build stuff, you send those guys to a place, they fight. It's very continuous, and I can't imagine playing, if you played a scientific route and you really just want to sit there and tech out to win the game. I think it'd be very boring, but some people like that more than the war. For the score, I get the gameplay at 2 out of 3. It's very fluid, it's very interesting, and even if it is a little repetitive, it has that unique factor that makes it something special, you know. And I've always had an easy time finding things I want, an easy time doing things. It makes the gameplay very easy and convenient for me. That's a good score. Alright, for addiction, it can be pretty addictive. It's kind of like Civilization in that sense. One more turn, and before you know it, it's like next day. So I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 2. Highly addictive. Watch yourselves. For reliability, I've never had any issues. Easy score, 1 out of 1. Runs nicely. The only thing I would say is that if you have it on the highest settings, maybe it's just on the older version, they may have patched it by now, but you may see a slightly high CPU usage, or maybe it's GPU. I can't quite recall. It's been a long time since I fixed it. Go into your settings, turn things down, and you really don't notice much of a difference in quality, but you do notice a big difference in the drain it has on your computer. So for atmosphere, I'm going to give it a 1.5 out of 2. It does a good job of building that spacey atmosphere, and even though the music wasn't super, and the dialogue is all kind of text and things like that, it does a good job building the atmosphere like you're in space. It's got a big distance to cover and a very solid style. Style gets a lot of points for me, especially when it's cohesive like that. It's very nice. Finally, for replay value, I give it a 1 out of 2. It does have replay value if you change the map up and change your faction up a bit, but I found that it's kind of the same thing no matter what, and you do end up just waging war, researching, and same cycles over and over. For that reason, I can only really give it 1 out of 2. Hopefully you can play it a couple times before it loses its charm. That's the total score of 7 out of 10. Not a too bad score for kind of a more obscure game. It's not a AAA game, it's not a D-class game, and I do recommend you try it out. You can find it for sale once in a while, and if you're like me, you'll always buy things on sale. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Have yourselves a great day, and watch some more videos, damn it.